Is Chris, joined as ever by the
Forget
man.
everything you think you know about mobile gaming, because the most ambitious gaming.
Wait, what?
Sorry, no, carry on.
I mean, why I spend a lot of time thinking about something evil to say about you, you just spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to fuck up my intros, don't you?
Well, I have to have my videos interrupted by Raid Shadow Legends every single fucking day, so I don't see why you should get away with it just because they're not being sponsored by them. Might as well be sponsored by them. They sponsor everyone else.
Yeah, true, that's actually pretty fair.
Chinese wet market sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
The worst thing is I actually have the game on my mobile phone.
I had, and I got shut of it. Pile of shit.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a while. However, if Raid Shadow Legends wants to sponsor us, please do. Uh, Other than that, uh, yes, please sponsor us. So that
It
then
is the most ambitious mobile gaming of 2019. It's just launched and it's still shit.
it hasn't just launched, has it? Now, I mean, it's been a while.
I know, but they still give you the same script to read.
No, not really. What
Yeah.
culture doesn't do it anymore? They do actual stuffies around it.
Well, out of the 20 or so YouTube channels that I follow, I think only about 8 of them are actually sponsored by it, but they all use the exact same one. And the adverts still crop up on other random videos I watch. I'll follow the same script.
Hmm. I've not noticed that because, like, I guess it's from the developer himself. Because if What Culture does it, they do their own thing. It's not like they, well, I don't know. It's just they don't do the whole it just came out and it's awesome thing.
It's shit though.
I don't know. I mean, it does get well boring pretty quickly. It's a bit of a grind to get your characters up to like a higher level.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what sort of game it was as soon as I logged in. I had to close 3 or 4 pop-ups for
Yes.
money packs right away.
Yeah, but I think that's just the phase of mobile gaming now, isn't it?
Probably that doesn't mean I have to accept it.
True. That is like the issue with mobile gaming in my experience as well. Like, even a lot of the better games do have all those pop-ups like, hey, we want your money. And I get it that that's where they can get their monies from because Fate there's not a big market for mobile games. Well, there's a big market for mobile games, but nobody's willing to pay a lot of money for it, while all the stuff is out there for free as well.
Yeah, well, they don't need to. If you get a good popular game, you'll log in, you'll see that it's anything between 10 and 100 million downloads, all you only need to get. Each player to spend a couple of quid, and they've got enough to start up a studio if they like, and their overheads for producing a mobile game are extremely low in comparison to every other form.
Hmm.
It's a clever little thing, to be honest. It's just so overused, you see right through it. If it wasn't used so much, then you could appreciate it for what it is, even if you don't agree with it.
I don't know.
But I
It's
think that's a clever little trick they're using there. But now it's so saturated. It's yeah.
well, I disagree. To me, even if it was something like only a few games applied, it would, in my opinion, it's just another loot box system, which is one of the reasons the industry is in the state it is right now, and it's not a good state. So whether or not you pay for the game, I mean, I would rather pay even 50 quid for a decent mobile game than have a freeware game where I get annoyed by loot boxes the entire time.
I prefer it much more, even if I could never get rid of the system as it is, and I very much doubt I could, because I'm just one guy who doesn't really do that much anyway, so what the fuck are they gonna listen to me for? But I'd find it much more tolerable if it wasn't rammed down my throat every goddamn screen. I'm playing one at the minute to give you an example, and it's that Bleach game.
Yeah.
The translations are terrible. A lot of the text boxes are doubled up, so you'll skip one text box and then get the exact same text box again. I've got to I was making half decent progress. Not so fast I could just blast through it. It has a very punishing stamina system, shall we say. Especially when you're with the intent of trying to level up your characters because you need to grind for materials. Now, the good news is you can auto-grind. You can immediately blast through blocks of 10 levels all at once and you'll just get the rewards for each level, which is good, considering the amount of stuff that you need to get. Nobody wants to spend that much time for nothing.
What's your point? You're taking your sweet time getting to it.
Oh, you have to build up to these things, don't you?
Really?
Oh.
That's not what your girlfriend says.
But
yes, okay.
You can replenish your stamina. Of course, it costs the in-game currency, which costs the fucking earth if you were to buy it. It's on the dearer side of the ones that I've seen. The good news is they do give you that currency in-game, and often with patches they'll give you a chunk of it. So providing you don't play more than once a day, you're unlikely to run out. That said, anybody else in the world who does play more than once a day is guaranteed to run out. And if you want to keep up the progress, you're going to have to pay. You aren't going to get shit with the amount of stamina that you'll have at any one time on its own, not without replenishing that. I've got so far into the story, and then I managed to hit a brick wall with progress, as you so often do in these types of games. They'll leave it for just long enough, and I think they do this on purpose, because this is something that I've noticed on more than a few mobile games now. They'll ask you for a review a couple of levels in, but they'll wait until 10 levels or so before really putting the shit things in. By which time you've already got your review done, if you were in the mind to leave a review at all. And like I said, I've just hit a wall with it. I've got all my characters up to the point where to advance them anymore. Really, I need to be on a higher stage than what I am to be getting the materials, which I can't do because my characters aren't strong enough to get there yet. It's a real catch-22, and it will eventually break, because there are other methods to making your characters stronger than just using these materials, which you need a ridiculous amounts of stamina to farm for, and the levels, the correct levels to grind to get them in the first place. But it's extremely slow. We're talking geologically slow here. I've been stuck on one thing for the best part of a week. And that's just... it just seems like it's the way it is, and I'm not even that far in the story neither.
Yeah, okay. So, just to actually summarize, what is your actual point here now?
That it's extremely fucking cheeky of developers to be following the same roadmap as each other all the time without developing games.
Isn't that true in AAA titles as well?
Well, probably, but we're not talking about AAA titles, are we? We're talking about mobile games. But if you'd like to talk about AAA titles, we will do.
Well, no. Here's the thing. If you're saying that like this is an issue, which I agree it is, because when is the last time we actually had a decent original game, both on mobile as well as AAA? Fair enough, but I don't think you can call this a problem of mobile games, while it is also an issue that plagues any and every title these days.
This is very true. This is very true. But again, I'd say it's like comparing a box of apples to a whole orchard. Yes, there are both parties have an apple. They have many apples, but that hardly makes them equal. It's definitely more egregious and more annoying in mobile games. I can still, for example, play games on consoles and PC that I enjoy that do not have them, but I'm struggling to find a mobile game that doesn't follow this line of reasoning.
Pandemic. It's a mobile game I have recently been playing a lot because of, world events. And what you do there is basically you create your own little disease and try to extinguish all life on Earth.
Oh, I've seen that. There's one on that's isn't that on the PC as well?
Yes. So yeah, and you unlock everything as you go. I mean, you can buy like the entire game and unlock it all in one sitting. I mean, in one easy payment. Let's put it like that. But I got something of let's say a free edition kind of thingy, and you actually have to work for in order to unlock everything. And I don't mind doing that. I don't have pop-ups, I don't have stuff saying like, hey, you need to do this or do that, or buy so much of this and life will be easier. Nope, it's just the game and that's it.
I did play one game some time ago, and that was you had to pay 99 pence, I think it was, to play the game without pop-ups, and I'd be happy doing that.
Yeah.
Without advertisements. It'd still bug me. Because I don't play a game to be told about all the other games I could be playing when I'm trying to play the one that I'm on. That's just completely self-defeating, if you ask me.
Unless if it's from the same guy.
If it's a case of you have to choose one or the other, then I would definitely pick the lesser of the two evils. If it's a choice between constant pop-ups and just being left alone to play the game that you choose to play, I would definitely pick the being left alone version.
Yes, however, and this is something I came across. Now, I have certain games like that are just plain stupid, like a Brick Breaker game. Yeah. So for people who don't know, it's just basically a series of balls you have, and you have to clear all the bricks on the screen with those balls. They bounce off of the other bricks and stuff like that. Anyway, so there's a VIP mode in this game, which I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. And like, I mean, if you wanna ask for money for the game, I'm like, okay, fine. So I get the advertisement, and it said like, okay, hey, for just you can have VIP free for 1 week. I'm like, okay, cool. And after that, it's $8.95 per week.
Fucking hell! For a
Yes.
brick-breaking game?
Yes.
That's 4 times as much for a fucking VIP pass for bloody Elder Scrolls Online or World of Warhammer.
I know. World of Warhammer.
World of Warcraft, sorry. Good on playing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should make a World of Warhammer, fuck it.
Yeah, Warhammer Online was a thing, but it's gone now. But anyway, but they do kind of give you incentive to do this. Because it doesn't matter if you're going back to the main menu, or if you want to start a level or finish a level, there's a fucking advertisement. Not all the fucking time, just
Enough to be really annoying.
yes.
And you know they've done that on purpose, right?
Yeah, of course.
You don't need to advertise as much as they do. They've just done it to piss you off, so you do buy the thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not buying it. Fuck it, I'm not gonna pay $8.95 for a game. I mean, and the worst thing is, like, I actually like this game. I mean, it's not like the way I like Death Stranding or like Dark Souls or anything, but it is basically just mindless fun.
Yeah.
And when I'm watching some TV in the evening, and you know, I want to have something to do while I watch TV, I just play that. And, you know, it is just fun. It's nothing more than that. I mean, I don't want to pay $8.95 for it. And to be honest, like, the advertising these days, I just have my phone on mute, and I just watch the fucking advertisement. I mean, it's 30 seconds of advertising time, and I'm like, fuck it. I mean, if there's no sound attached, fair enough. But even if you watch the advertising, there's always like a little subtitle there that says, shown promo is not actual gameplay.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
We all remember that from the old console and PC game demos. They used to show that habitually when they were doing their cinematic demos and that, because the things were never that. The graphics are never that good, but they do make, or they used to regularly make cinematic demos for trailers of games and that, to show the concept and what it's about.
Cinematic trailers, fine, fair. I don't give a shit. Like, I know that's part of the industry. Like, Halo got big on its trailers like that.
Yeah,
what I do have a problem with...
That was back when the graphics really weren't that good. But
no, give me cinematic trailers. Fine, I don't care. I would love a cinematic trailer for the next game. But what I do take issue with is that it shows what can be considered as gameplay, and when you look up the game in the store, there are completely different screenshots like that. And I actually did this. There was a game called Hustle Kingdom.
Oh god, no.
Oh yeah, and it had like a nice little trailer during one of the other games I played, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of fun.
Hustle Castle. That's
Hustle Castle, yeah.
They made it look like a puzzle solving thing.
Yeah.
Where and it's like your little character got messed up if you gave the wrong answer.
Yep. And then when you download it, it's something else completely. This is what I have an issue with. I mean, when you watch a cinematic trailer of, let's say, Halo back in the day, you actually had Master Chief in there, and you had Master Chief kicking ass of the Covenant.
Yeah, it had something to do with the game, didn't it? Whether it was giving you a story point or whatever.
Yeah,
But that's just outright false advertising. That even with the saying, oh, not actual gameplay. From what should it? Because it's got nothing to do with the game.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't mind those cinematic trailers, but at least have them be in regard of the game.
Yeah, have them relevant to what you're playing.
And I feel like ads are one thing, and I don't mind the occasional ad, just like I don't mind the occasional loot boxing games, but at least have everything involved with the game, not just be a random thing. Like
There's another one that it brings to memory that I've seen more of lately, and I think this is because they got a bit of money through in-game sales, surprise, surprise, and they decided to make the game look a whole lot cooler than it was by using the in-game models and then making it look like it's got more features and set out differently and like just everything cranked up to 11. And that is State of Survival.
yes.
You've probably come across them. Now that's
Yes.
one you can argue the toss on if you want, because a lot of the features it displays in the gameplay demo, which isn't really a demo, it's just advertising, you do technically exist. Like, you do technically farm and gather resources, but in the trailers and that, it shows you physically getting the resources, like proper gathering. It's like you take your little hero there and you drive out to the thing, you chop the thing, you pick up the thing, and then you drive back with the thing, and that's how you get. And that is not how it works. It's a basic RTS game. You don't see any of this happen. It's just time bars everywhere, as anybody who's ever played an RTS will know.
A mobile RTS.
A mobile RTS, yeah. Probably an important distinction there.
Yeah.
I haven't played any PC RTS, so I don't know what the differences are.
Of course you have Age of Empires.
When did I play that?
Have you never played Age of Empires?
I don't think so, or if I do, I don't remember.
Age of Mythology, Command and Conquer.
No.
How have you never played any of those? Did you not grow up in the 90s?
I never played PC in the 90s.
How dare you? Get the fuck off the channel. You
I
did
was
not.
poor. I couldn't afford a PC in the 90s. I couldn't even afford new clothes in the 90s. I grew up with my elder brother's hand-me-downs.
Poor baby. He's from
I
the
know.
north of England, everyone.
It's normal up here.
Yeah, and basically for the American viewers, you can compare that to Jersey. Or Alabama. Take your pick.
Yeah, the heavily wooded areas that people go missing in.
Yeah, basically. And where people fuck their cousins.
Hey, allegedly, if they're the third cousin, then they're no longer of any actual relation to you.
You see how he's defending this already?
Yeah, it's just so disappointing. And what's most grating, I think, what's most upsetting, is they probably could make a game like that. Like the Hustle Castle thing, they probably could make a game like that if they wanted to, but they won't.
The thing I've been coming across a lot these days is the mobile game for 7 Deadly Sins.
I've heard of that, and to be honest, even the way the mashup trailer looks, it looks fake as fuck.
I know. And in light of our discussion here today, bloody hell. Excuse me. I do feel like actually that I want to download it one of these days and actually see like, okay, you're promoting this as a anime style game with actual anime graphics on a mobile phone. Which is pretty fair. I mean, we can stream in HD on our phones. So
Phones are pretty powerful little buggers, the way that
yeah,
they're put together and the way that they're optimized.
yeah. So it should be capable of doing this, right? We are now Legend 7 level Legend 7. Um,
What does this mean for our skills, I wonder?
yes, good point. What does this mean for my gear as well?
Now, a whole lot of these adverts and that, they're more like cock teases than anything else. It's just when
Excuse
you
me.
know that they could probably do what they say that they're offering, and they don't.
Yeah. Hmm. Do feel like mobile gaming, it's definitely not like the future of gaming, but they could do a lot more with it than they currently are.
I think so too.
I think we will actually have to finish the game before we get any good stuff out of all of this. You know, mobile games started with this whole pay-to-win thing. Um, and later that got adopted into loot boxes. Mobile games, well, in AAA titles, mobile games started with the whole games as a service thing, which also came into being into AAA titles. And I got the feeling that actual AAA developers are following mobile games, that mobile games are setting the trend now, because they do apply to a much broader audience than your AAA titles do.
No, it's true. More people have mobile phones of some stripe or the other, especially smartphones, than have consoles.
Yeah, and I do think a lot of people just take their mobile phones, and even if they don't say like, hey, I'm a gamer, or I play mobile games or anything like that, that they still just do. I mean, I still think a lot of people who are like games are for idiots or something of that regard just still play those mobile games.
Oh yeah, if you play games, you're a gamer.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, it's true though.
No, it's not.
It is. There's only gamers capital G that argue the other way, and those are just saddos.
I mean, it's not. I mean, if you play Monopoly, does that make you a landlord?
What the hell has that got to do with anything? No, it makes me a gamer because I'm playing games.
No, it doesn't.
Well, are you not a gamer because you don't because you play board games as well?
I am a gamer because
do you argue the legitimacy of tabletop Warhammer or Dungeons
no,
and Dragons? Are those not games now? Because you know, Monopoly's not neither.
they are games. But just because you play a game doesn't make you a gamer.
Well, then I'm not a gamer neither.
Well, it depends on what you call a gamer, and to me it's
Why don't we both save ourselves a tremendous amount of headache and mediate on this in the only way that you will accept, and you decide what a gamer
Ah, you fuckface. That's not what I'm
is.
saying at all.
Well, you may as well, because it'll save a whole lot of pissing around, and you
Oh
will
no,
not accept anything else.
I mean the average person who plays a game on mobile phone or wherever, who plays Monopoly at a family evening or whatever you want to call it, they're not anxiously waiting for the next colonists of Catan to come out. They're not anxiously waiting for Final Fantasy VII remake to come out. And I think that's what makes a gamer. It's not just a person who plays video games. It's a person who's actually invested in playing video games. What I would call someone well, not who just plays a game, but who occasionally plays something like Monopoly, for example, like a mobile game. I would call them players and not really gamers.
Okay, then I still fall outside of the umbrella of gamer. Because
Why?
I don't anxiously wait for releases of games. More often than not, I completely forget that they're even being made. Because I have better things to worry about. You can't argue on the strength of how much I play games, because I play games a whole lot less when I'm at work. Sometimes I don't even bother with the PlayStation that day, or for a couple of days.
That I have
Well,
noticed.
now that I'm on the Force Sick, of course, I play more because everyone needs a hobby. That hardly makes me a game.
Well, true, but I have noticed in the past that you definitely are looking out after titles that interest you. Like Neo 2, for example.
Well, yes, but that the exception doesn't prove the rule there. It's just
Well, okay,
yes,
but
I am eager to play Neo 2, but are not people who avidly play board games, or even just happen to occasionally play them, but has a stall selling them at some point, maybe on some market, some Christmas market somewhere, see one, or out shopping for presents for someone and visiting those funny little like man store things where they sell all the best shit, all the best shit, and there's daft like Bunny Suicide's game boards and things like that, and you think, oh, I can't wait to play that. You know, it's like, okay, so are they still not gamers because they are currently feeling some sort of eagerness to play a game?
I don't know, I still think it's more a state of mind than just playing a game. I mean, it's like, how do you define a nerd or a geek? It's the same issue. Like, I define myself as a nerd, a geek, and a gamer because I have actually invested a lot of time and basically also money into this thing. And would you then consider a nerd someone who's watched Avengers Endgame and liked it?
I wouldn't have said so.
Who watched no, let's put it in a different light. Who watched not Endgame. What's the previous one?
Well, there were two parts of Endgame, weren't there?
Well,
Infinity.
yeah.
No, there were two parts of Infinity War.
No, there was Infinity War and then there was Endgame. Right, that's the one. So anyone, I mean, by what I'm hearing from your logic, let's put it like that. If a person went out, watched Infinity War, and wanted to know how the story ended, and was excited about seeing the how the snap ended up, would he then be considered a nerd because he wanted to see Endgame?
Oh, if they suddenly decide that the whole universe interests them, I don't see how it, practically speaking, goes any different to someone who was invested beforehand in these stories and the universes set out in the comics. It's just now
No, no,
it's in a different medium.
I'm not talking about the entire universe. I'm talking about Endgame and Infinity War. Because Infinity War is basically the prelude to Endgame. And
It's just those two films. I can't imagine somebody in this situation only being interested in those two. Surely they'd be interested in the whole series.
well, sure,
Perhaps
they
less
probably
interested in certain films.
yeah, they probably watched the other ones as well at some point. Um,
So do you think that they find interesting about that? What in this situation, this scenario, would they be finding interesting that would make them
yes,
want
but
to watch one over the other or continue watching them? Are they interested in the story? Are they interested in the concepts?
yes, but at what point would you consider them nerds instead of just casual film goers who watch the latest blockbuster?
Well, to go off the oldest definitions that I know of, and oldest uses of the term that I know of, I'd say if it's somebody who's now finds himself interested in the settings preferred by the titles, then yes, they are now nerds.
Okay, what's then the difference between that and gaming?
Well,
Because
that's not my argument. My argument is I believe people who play the mobile games and the board games are all gamers. It's your argument that they're not.
no, no, my argument is that a gamer is not a person who just plays them. It is a person who is invested in them.
Well, then I am also not a gamer.
Well, yes, you are looking at how much you are invested in the whole thing around Neo 2, and whatever else is out there.
Yes, I like those, but those games in particular. I'm not going out making YouTube channels. I'm not making top 10 lists. I'm not, doing any of that. I'm not invested. I'm not going to write up lists of things I want to get. I'm not learning about the history as per se, not on purpose anyway. I'm not researching facts. I'm not looking for exploits within the games. I'm not googling builds on Dark Souls or any of that crap that you do because you're just not a real gamer either.
And you think that is what makes a gamer, the fact that you
Well, you see the level of investment that you're going on about.
well, yes, but not just in hey, what can I like I want to make YouTube channel of it. That's not per se a level of investment. I mean,
You've got to
sure.
have some level of investment in there if you want to go to the trouble of making a YouTube channel.
Well, of course. I mean, that speaks for itself. Like you do have to have like some what the hell? You do have to have like some stuff in there that you want to share, a passion, if you will, for the game in question. But I don't think that defines investment, because not everyone can do the whole YouTube thing. Not everyone wants to do the whole YouTube thing.
No, of course not.
And what the hell is your argument?
My argument is I'm not a gamer by your definitions.
I don't
I
know.
don't have this investment. The interest I have in games is the interest I have in rock formations. I'm interested in it. I look at them occasionally. Sometimes I even go to the trouble of reading up about certain crystals, or where to find them, how to shape them. But that's where my investment starts and ends with a great many of things. That doesn't make me a geologist.
Well, no, but that's an academic thing. I mean, a geologist is a title awarded to someone um, who has studied the phenomenon and has a degree saying, "Hey, I am a geologist because I have this
Okay,
little
then
piece of paper."
let me use another example of the same vein that isn't an academic example. I, for instance, have interest in wood carving, but I'm not particularly invested in it.
Uh,
I would not call myself a carver.
no, I really
Same
wouldn't
with
either.
engraving. Medieval weapons, I'm interested in those. I'm not particularly invested, obviously, because I only have a couple. And only one of them's medieval. The other two are Dark Age. Do you see where I'm getting at here? I don't... If it's down to the investment you have in something, then I don't fit the bill. Because I don't want to sit here and think, right, this hobby is what I'm going to put all my time and effort into. This is what I'm going to study through. This is something I'm going to be proud of myself for doing. I have interest in calligraphy and I'm not invested in it. Although I probably should be, because it's something I'm actually half decent at.
Okay, so how can I put this into words? Fine, investment, but I'm really thinking about how to get my point across here.
Even if you don't want to see investment as something that's all or nothing, if it's something that you can say can either be any number between 1 and 10 on the scale of extreme, where 1 is something that you do enjoy to do, it's a hobby, it's not something that anything more than that, you can take it or leave it when you have free time, it's something that you can leave alone for months at a time and come back to whenever. Say that's your number 1. It's something that you're not averse to doing, something that you do like doing, but it's not something that you're going to pick up every day. So that's your starting point in your scale of investment, and it goes right up to spending every minute of every day doing nothing but something that is involved in some way related to it.
I think we have to go back for a bit here. The thing is blinking for up there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
At what stage of that do you have to be, or what level of investment there do you have to be before you can call yourself something, or should I say what you would be willing to call someone else at something?
When you say it's your hobby, like I have had people in my life who play the occasional board game, who play the occasional video game, something like let's put the most common things on there: FIFA and Call of Duty. Now
you're
these
definitely not a gamer if you see them as your preferred game. Sorry, but just no. No.
Well, depends on again what.
It really doesn't depend. It's just no.
It really does. Like the zombie games are actually quite a lot of fun in Call of Duty. But here's the thing. Like I've known people who have played these games, put in quite a lot of hours, mostly in the online thing. They do not consider themselves gamers.
Yeah, a connoisseur of tentacle porn does not make you an art appreciator neither, but there you go.
Yeah, but hang on. If you ask these people, what are your hobbies? They will not say Call of Duty. They will not say FIFA. They will say I like reading, I
These
like
people
writing.
probably won't say gaming neither because it still has that connotation to it if they only play one or two things. 'Cause a lot of people, when they come up with their hobbies or what they want to admit to, they play it safe, don't they? Haven't you
Well,
noticed? They play it safe what they want to admit
even
to,
still,
what they feel is socially
yeah, but
acceptable.
even still, in like, if they are talking to me, who is quite vocal about what I like and what I dislike, and people will say like, "Oh, I played Call of Duty once," or you know, they would even say I like playing Call of Duty, and does that and one when then you ask them like, okay, like what's your what are your hobbies? They will not say Call of Duty, and for the simple reason because they do not consider it a an actual hobby, or they're not that invested in it. The thing is, to me, you're a gamer, or you know, you can be considered nerd, geek gamer, whatever you want to call it. Weird. Um, like, if you stand up in class and they ask you what is your hobby, you say, I play video games. That makes you a gamer. If you play the occasional board game, if you play the occasional a video game like Call of Duty, like FIFA, like whatever, if you've only invested time in, let's say, The Last of Us, in my opinion, that still does not make you a gamer. Fine, The Last of Us is a great title, and I am actually anxiously waiting for number 2. However, if you consider playing video games as your hobby, or playing board games as your hobby, that in my opinion makes you a gamer. If you consider them to be just mindless pastimes that you can live without, don't really care about, it's just something you do when you're bored, or something what you do when you're at a friend's place and you don't know what else to do.
Isn't that what a lot of hobbies are, though? Some people, for example, reading. Sure, they enjoy reading, they'll do it when they have free time, but only when they've got free time. If there's something else to do, they'll do something else.
Well, yes, but then we're back to this whole level of involvement thing. Like, if my hobby is let's take you for example. If your hobby is calligraphy and it's video games, and someone asks you to, okay, here's a free hour, do whatever you want.
There lies the entrance.
And that's the thing, like, if you then say, okay, I'm gonna do calligraphy, but, well, no, I'm not putting myself out clearly. Hang on, let me try and rephrase this.
Trying to organise your thoughts on the fly is quite a tricky thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I know what I'm thinking. I'm just not sure how to explain it properly, or how to give a decent example. Because for a lot of these people that I'm talking about, that video games is not necessarily their pastime. It's just
Something they do when they have time to pass.
yeah, like they would more easily grab a dish towel than a video game.
Well, that's kind of like me. Given the example you offered, if I had a spare hour, I would probably use it cleaning up.
Yeah,
I
alright.
had cleaning up to do.
Wait, how can I... Okay. If you have like... Well, you do have a free time now, because of, you know, events in the world.
Yeah.
And you still spend a lot of time playing video games. Yes?
Fuck all else to do.
That's not true. Because I think it was yesterday or the day before that we were talking about what else you could be doing. Or you could...
I wouldn't worry about that.
Or you could be doing calligraphy, you could be doing something else entirely, I don't know. But still, you chose to do video games, and that in my book makes you more of a gamer than people who would, let's say, put in a DVD or put on Netflix.
Okay.
Because your choice of relaxation at this point is it's more to do with video games than it does with just sitting on the couch doing fuck all or watching sports.
Okay.
And then that's the kind of more like the level of investment I'm talking about. Like, if you have at this time everyone's basically
so
sitting at home and hold on.
A gamer is just somebody who does it for fun, basically, a hobby, right?
Well, no. A gamer is someone more like when given the choice between a lot of stuff they could be doing, he goes for video games. Like right now you could as well be, well, not now because you're obligated to stream with me, but like for the rest of the day you've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky, you've been playing a lot of Neo the last couple of days. You could have spent all that time watching the entire series of American Horror Story or of Community, of Big Bang Theory, you name it. But you chose to play video games.
Because at the minute I feel like I want to play video games. Other days you will find that I'm not on the PlayStation. That is probably because I'll be watching something else, or another day I'll be doing something else. Procrastination does not a hobby make. Even though I will freely admit that gaming is a hobby, but I still don't see myself as a gamer.
But now, what would you say is an actual gamer? What is your standard definition of a gamer? If it is having a YouTube channel or playing it professionally or whatever, there are very few gamers in the world.
No, that is not it at all. Now, earlier I said that people who play video games, play mobile games, and whatever like that. If they play games, they're a gamer. You'll be wondering now, well, why did I just say I don't see myself as a gamer? And that's because you don't see those people as gamers. This is your chosen thing. It's somebody who does something for a hobby, yes, okay. Are these people not also... The Candy Crush, for example. Now, a mate of mine, who I work with, is on level fuck knows what thousand on Candy Crush. That's his hobby. When he's got downtime and he doesn't know what else to do with himself, which is quite pretty often, he'll be found stressing himself over the current level of Candy Crush that he's stuck on. He is gaming as a hobby, but you yourself don't believe that to be gaming, because as an earlier example you gave somebody who just plays The Last of Us or Call of Duty, probably don't really watch anything else on the game console.
Yes, but those people then also do not see themselves, they do not consider gaming their hobby. Well, this person does.
And yet it is something that they do habitually do. And I can ask him outright, and he will not call himself a gamer. Even though it's something he does as a hobby.
Well, I wouldn't call Candy Crush gamer either. And I feel like...
I wouldn't, but I'm forced to admit that that is probably the case anyway.
I don't know, then you're going on what can be considered a game.
No, is Candy Crush not a game?
Well, I think so.
Then why raise the issue?
Because you
Is there an
raised it
example I've
earlier.
given that isn't a game?
Because you also raised it earlier with Call of Duty and FIFA, which you do not consider games as well. Well,
No, I don't.
well, there you go. What's the difference between that and Candy Crush?
Candy Crush is a game.
Why is Candy Crush a game and Call of Duty or FIFA isn't?
Because it's not. It's like how people think tomatoes are a vegetable.
Well, no, they're a fruit.
Exactly.
But I mean, you know that there's no logical reasoning with you. I mean, I fucking give up. I'm done. This.
Oh, don't give up now. You're so close to having an aneurysm.
Seriously.
I'm currently
What the
more
hell?
invested in giving you a migraine than I am even defending my own stance.
Don't worry, I have migraines all the time. I'm way ahead of the curve.
I know. I'm not sure of it. That is also a hobby of mine, though I've never really realised it until now. It's something I habitually do, and I gain enjoyment from it, so I suppose that does kind of make it a hobby, doesn't it? If we want to cross-examine what we think a hobby is.
Yeah. You suck.
And my overarching point is, and I have had this conversation with people before, I have left an annoyed message on the underside of upper echelon gamers before, because these are people who are very vocal about what they think a gamer is and what they think just a part-time gamer is, who an elite gamer is, and all that carry on. Now, depending on who you ask, I could have been once considered a hardcore gamer, especially back in the days of when I was on Final Fantasy XIV a lot. I was a very good tank. I played every single day. Going right into raids, completely blind, no study whatsoever, and it's rarity. That's normally something you only get out of these dedicated gaming channels, because they have to be the first one to do something, so they have their own little group of friends who are all very competent at the roles that they play, as you're well aware, because you were doing this before I was.
Yeah.
And they all work together to figure out the mechanics and do a run, think, right, well, that didn't work, why didn't that work, that enemy did that, we were stood here, right, is there any correlation? This is what we think happened, let's go test it. And they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it until they get the server first or the world first or whatever. And that's how they do it, and that's how the hardcore gaming channels get the content. But I myself was also running raids blind and getting through them. And that wasn't all that long ago, that was only a couple of years ago. Now, at that time, according to their standards, I could have been seen as a hardcore gamer. I ticked all the boxes, but at the same time, I'm not a hardcore gamer, as you know.
Well, yeah.
And this is just one of those things. I'm not going to go into thinking what a hardcore gamer is and what isn't, because I know it's completely bloody meaningless. It's different for everybody. Everybody has their own view on it. I don't even think such a thing exists. It just goes back to the level of investment we had before. How invested in the game are you? Some people are at a 3. I'd say I'm at a 3. Maybe a 4 most times. It's not something that I'm going to go out of the way for. I don't even remember the last time I went into a game shop or went out to a game shop just to do that. Sure, I go in them in passing, but I don't go out of my way to go to one. And that's pretty low level stuff right there. It's like going to HMV. If you like music, you'll go to HMV to see what they got. Maybe that's a 6. You start going out of your way to go to specific shops that are involved with your hobby.
Hang on,
I'm not there. I'm just not there.
Well, I'm not necessarily there either.
But yet here you are on your own channel, which you raised, which you make content for,
Well,
which you put effort into, and that is certainly a couple of marks above simply going to a game shop.
well, yeah, sure. I mean, I definitely see myself as a nerd, as a geek, as a gamer. Which I will never say otherwise. God damn it, I'm dead. Don't worry, I'm paying to revive. But I mean, I am for one very much invested in everything. Both in nerd stuff, in geek stuff, in all that stuff.
Yeah, you have been your pretty much whole life, haven't you? This goes right back to when you were like a kid, like reading your first comics, etc.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I just discovered something by accident. Get back over there. Right. Open up your inventory and go onto your equipment.
Yeah, I'm there.
Press triangle on anything in particular.
Ah, the blessing thingy is up there. Yes, I see.
That's what we use the stones on.
Hold on, I'm dropping something, and I'm not sure if you can pick it up. It's one. It's one of the red items. Apparently, it was dropped for you. It's something you can use, and I can't.
Yeah, I tried to pick it up earlier, but it wouldn't let me because I'm full inventory.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go clear our fucking inventories. I'm gonna see if I can bless some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, see why not. I think the whole thing drops down to the usual in-group, out-group bullshit. You get any group of people who you go back in time, to the very start of the genre. There wasn't such a thing as video games, yet people who go to the arcade, they really enjoyed it. Anyway, video games come along a few years later. They buy a console, they start on that. Time progresses on. Now you've got now it's no longer social taboo to be wasting your time in your bedroom playing around video games. It's just the sort of thing that happens, you know, when you back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s and that, and it wasn't the done thing to be wasting your time inside when you should be out doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not just okay to be, but it's the video games industry has taken to the point where it's now a multi-billion pound global network, global everything. It's a massive industry.
Yeah.
People are going on to that on a professional medium as well. You've seen the leagues people join, people play. Especially the League of Legends thing and stuff like that. There's a lot of prize money involved. They're considering themselves professionals at it. At one point, you wouldn't consider anything. Even professional sport wasn't all that professional at one point. And look at it all now, and this is just the rise of popularity. It's what happens naturally. Especially things you can actually interact with, which is why you don't see the same thing as reading. But even then, you still get speed reading competitions. So to go with all of this, and the supporters and fans of these different genres of pastimes, you'll inevitably get to the point where you've got people involved with them who want to be the best via affiliation. It's the whole no true Scotsman fallacy. If you don't act in this certain way, you aren't a real fan. If you don't wear the current season's t-shirt, you aren't a real fan, and so on and so forth. And I think that's what's happened to gaming now, which is why there are people around, such as upper echelon gamers, who get so salty when it comes to things like sort of like hardcore gamers versus casuals. At one point I thought people having a go at each other for being casual gamers was just a meme, just a piss take, but it seems it's not. At least not for a good number of people. It's something to take deadly seriously. And I just cannot get my head around it.
There is no time I've arranged.
And what of the witch hunter?
There's no time.
Even so.
So, in light of all this, I can't consider myself a gamer. Even if I am, by 99% of the definitions out there. I can't think of myself that way. I don't want to. I want to enjoy my hobby without outside influences telling me how I should and should not enjoy my hobby. And I had this exact same issue with calligraphy of all things, would you believe? A few years ago, 3, maybe 4 years tops ago, I joined a Facebook group on calligraphy. Now you'd be wondering, where the fuck is he going with this?
I always wonder where you're going with shit.
I joined this to try and get tips, because I haven't been taught. I don't know anything other than what a few books that I've been given and what I've bought have told me. I don't know any, I haven't been shown any techniques, I haven't had anywhere to discuss which inks are better for what. It's all purely trial and error. And there's only so far that will get you unless you just happen to break lucky. You know, there's nobody to ask. So I decided to join a group on Facebook to do calligraphy. Now, you've seen some of my work. I'm not that bad. And this is just, like I said, this is hobby level interest.
I don't know, I have nothing to compare you to.
Well, this is mild hobby level interest. This isn't hardcore practicing 4 hours, 5 hours a day or anything like that.
Are you actually, by the way, coming to the fight that I'm doing, or just...
Oh yeah, I'm distracted by it.
Don't! Talk and work, you asshole. Yeah, so continue.
I forgot where I was now with interruption.
You were at your calligraphy Facebook group.
Oh,
in order to learn new things.
So I joined this with the intent of getting all the things that I was missing out for. People would ask for advice, people offering what if you call it equipment will be better in any given situation, stuff like that. You know, things a lot of other people take for granted because they do go into quote-unquote communities early on for their interests. And what I found when I got in there wasn't people who wanted to help other people simply for the joy of the experience. It wasn't people who were there for the love of the thing they were claiming to love. It was people lording it over other people because unless you do what I think is correct, then you are not this thing. I am now the spokesperson for everyone in this group, and there were so many like it.
I never thought he'd
So petulant and horrible, and they were even going so far as to slag off people who were trying to employ them. Because it is something that you can generate a little bit of income in. There's documents that you can get made. Some people transcribe family trees, for example. or
Yeah.
repair old documentation. Maybe you've got this proper old text and it's dropping to bits, and it's a case of either copy it or lose it because it ain't gonna last much longer.
Yeah.
And there are people who are very skilled at what we do, and we do want calligraphers to preserve documentation, preserve the documentation. And they're making such a fuss. I remember this one bloke who said he kicked off an entire stream over, I hate when people ask, do you do calligraphy? I said, how snotty can you be? Because he didn't word the question exactly as he wanted it to be worded. Is this what it means to be a calligrapher? I thought I want nothing to do with it. If that's what it is. It's like the attitude, the superiority. And I saw the same thing in that same Upper Echelon Gamers video regarding casuals. It's just the whole, I consider myself this, and therefore everyone must bow to my interpretation of. Just fucking no. It's like, how goddamn arrogant, how self-interested. You aren't anything but a prick.
But that's the thing in every group, in every hobby and everything.
It is. I'm only using that as an example of what I've found for myself.
Hold on. In every group, in every hobby, in every walk of life, even in video games, in work-related stuff, you're always gonna have people who are well, how do you say it? Who are elitist, who think their way is the best way. That's just that's part of this whole toxic community thing, and it's part of human nature, to be honest. But
yeah, I've seen more than a few videos regarding the same subject on all sorts of things like anime and hell.
Well, yeah, but then will you, like, if that's the case, if you only compare yourself to the number of toxic people in communities, then you're nothing.
Then I'll be nothing.
I mean, what?
I don't need somebody else's validation to like what I like. I don't need to be part of a community. I don't need other people for that.
Well, that's my whole
if being
point.
Part of the community is to put up with people who are elitists like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not naive. I'm not 6 years old. I'm not stupid. I know these people exist. I've always known. I was a moderator for that online game that we played. For fuck's sake, I know. I've always known. That doesn't change the fact that I find these people incredibly distasteful, and when they get elevated to the position where they are the community heads, I want nothing to do with it.
Well, fine, fair. But why would you... I mean, that's the whole thing. If you consider yourself just by their standards, why would you ever do that? Why would you say, I am not a gamer, I am not a nerd, I am not a geek, I am not a calligrapher? When
because I'm
it's
just on my own, that's why. I'm not a community head. I don't have 20,000 followers. I don't have 1.5 million.
So fucking what? So fucking what? I have 41 followers, 42 on YouTube. Does that make me not as valid as let's say Watch Mojo or Watch or What Culture or whatever? No, it most certainly does not. I do what I do, and I feel fine by doing it, and I don't feel this need that you apparently do have to compare yourself to the standards of others. I consider myself a nerd, I consider myself a geek, I consider myself a gamer, because that's who I am inside. That's how I feel inside. If I am not a nerd and not a geek, not a gamer by standards of another person, that person can fuck off. Not my standards. You're the opposite. You say I don't subscribe to this ideal of what a gamer should be, what a calligrapher should be. So I'm not a calligrapher, I'm not a gamer. You throw away your ideals, your belief in what you are yourself, in order to subjugate.
That is not what I said, and you know it.
It is what I am hearing.
That is not what you are hearing. Be honest with yourself. At what point have I ever thrown away my ideals? If anything, I'm preserving my ideals by not concerning myself with groups that are more interested in pushing their ideals down everyone's throat. I don't make a fuss when I leave. I turn around and I walk out the door, never to return. My ideals remain intact. They remain unaffected. They are mine. I don't need to cut out a portion of the world for myself. I don't need any of that. I have what I need already. All I go in is for a little bit of help on things that I get stuck on, maybe, and to see what other people are up to, and to see where the community, quote unquote,
then
is
the thing remains. Why do you not consider yourself a gamer or a calligrapher? Because of how other people see what it is.
Because if I start labelling myself as stuff, then I become part of the community.
Why?
The community I don't want part of.
Why is a label part of a community?
Because it is what the community has come up with for itself.
True, but why would you subscribe to this idea? It's what you feel on the inside that matters. It's not what other people think of you.
If what other people thought of me mattered, I would stay and try to build up popularity within that group. That is the exact opposite of what I do. I would rather be me, on my own, in my own way, than to join in these groups who just want to go along with whatever the loudest voice at the time has to say. I don't want that.
Well, oh, of course. Ah, health is draining.
Also,
Awesome.
I never liked crowds anyway, so that goes into it a little bit, I suppose.
Well, me neither, to be honest, but
My life does not deserve such a sacrifice.
the thing is, like, oh, bloody hell.
Does not deserve
I don't
such a
need
sacrifice.
I don't need praise or being told I'm right or anything like that. I'm quite happy to be told I'm wrong every single day of the week if that's what it takes for me to carry on.
Fine, you're wrong.
Fair enough. The reality stays the same.
Okay, but again, you consider yourself not part of the community, and that's why you do not consider yourself a gamer or a geek or a calligrapher. I think that is wrong. You are who you are on the inside. Doesn't matter if you're part of that community. Doesn't matter if you have that label. If
That's
you
the point
think
I'm trying to make. I disregard the label. I retain everything about myself which made me the same person I was when I first went into the community.
But you can subscribe the community the label to the community. No. You transcribe the label to
I allow
yourself.
the community to describe its own labels. And I simply work on the rules that they allocate for themselves and anybody else who wishes to be known as those labels.
But that's the thing. Why? Why would you place value in what these people think, in what their definition of the label should be? If you are not part of the community, but you still feel like I am a gamer, why place value on what the community thinks that a gamer is?
Well, we're back to gaming specifically again.
Well, I'm just using it as an
to that, I'll reiterate, this was simply
No, I'm just using it as an
on my finding of what people think about hardcore versus casual, even though people get into that argument don't seem to really have any consistency in what either one of those terms mean.
I'm just using gaming as an example, not as an end-all be-all.
Well, I'm responding to the example you give.
I don't know. Like, I don't consider myself to be a large part of a gaming community. I used to be a large part. I mean, I was a moderator on certain things. I was a raider every single night of the week. I did a lot of stuff. But I mean, I have never transcribed to what other people think a gamer should be. If the community says like, hey, you gotta raid every night of the week in order to be a gamer, and I just raid 2 nights of the week, then so be it.
Well, yes, and you know that those people do exist.
Well, yeah, but
and
I do not care.
Go into Discord channels and that, they can be quite numerous since they seem to cluster around each other. Even when they aren't what they say they are, they will pretend to be. They'll use the language of the group that they're in, they'll push themselves forwards, they'll regurgitate opinions that they've heard from other more prolific gamers than themselves, just to springboard themselves up in that same community. I just don't like crowds. That's what it is, I just don't like crowds.
I don't like it either, but I mean, that's for me. That is no reason to not consider myself a gamer just because I am not part of the in-crowd, or that I do not subscribe to the ideas or the ideals of those people in that community, in the toxic part of the community, by the way, that do consider themselves gamers.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. As I've already explained, I do not throw away my beliefs. I've been sat here defending my beliefs carefully for some time now, and explain, regardless of whether you agree with them or not. If I were to join a community, I would eventually have to follow some form of set guidelines, shall we say. There's minimums of expectation within the community that the community itself sets. Whether they do so knowingly or not, this is just what happens. Whenever a community is formed, this is what happens. This is people, this is nature. At any point where I find those guidelines, spoken or unspoken, to be distasteful, I'll leave. In some instances, it's far too quick for my own liking. And all the examples I've given are those far too quick. They're just before I even know anybody within said communities to talk to become friends with, I'm just greeted with wave upon wave of narcissism, of self-importance, and it carries this weird sensation like they're just egging people on, like challenging people around them. Like, well, if you want to think of yourself as this, and I am the real epitome of what you believe. So unless you can match what I do in some way, you don't really believe what you believe. And I don't want that. I would rather be excluded from said community. I would rather not fit. And if ever asked by anyone in said community what I am, I will say no. I'm not part of it.
So,
and that won't stop me liking what I like, it won't stop me doing what I do, and indeed it hasn't, as I have proved consistent for years.
But it will make you stop calling yourself a certain thing.
Which is perfectly fine for me. Words have a transient meaning anyway. Look at how the left conducts itself these days and tell me that isn't true.
I don't know, it still just feels like you are not naming yourself a thing because of the social obligations, let's say it, obligations, pressures, however you want to say it, of a few bad apples within a very large and vibrant community. Because if whether we're talking about video games or nerd stuff, anime, calligraphy, work, sports, doesn't matter.
Well, that
There
may be
will
true, and if
always
you
be
want to say,
people.
if you want to defer it all to a numbers game, then let me ask you a question. And you should be able to answer this one because it's a very practical question. How many bad apples, exactly, do you expect me to consume before I get to a good one?
All of them.
Then there's no discussion to be had, honestly.
The thing is, like, it doesn't matter, like, the bad apples. Or at least they don't to me. I would rather chew through 15 bad apples in order to find that that few tasty ones than just give up on everything, on an entire community, on an entire social person thingy, then be deterred. Oh, hold on, what the fuck is happening here? I would rather give up on... I hate this game. So here's the thing, I would rather buy through 15 bad apples to find the one juicy one, the one I like, instead of just giving up altogether. And basically, isn't that true as well as for whether it be hobbies or jobs or whatever?
Well, this is very possible, but what did Einstein say about insanity? Was it Einstein who said it? The very definition of insanity
Yeah, it
is
was
doing
Einstein.
the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. I have a 100% failure rate my entire life with one form of community or another, be it the popular crowds at school. I have found them to be rather weak-minded, weak-hearted, and definitely weak-brained. Hobby groups, proper gaming channels. I can't stand to stay in a single Discord channel for longer than a week. I still play a lot of online games, and it's quite regular now, and has been for a while, that you simply must join Discord, because you must be accessible at all times, for some reason. Yet when you join these groups, they just talk the same shit all over. They don't really do anything for you, and there's nothing for you to do for them. It's an unending cycle of absolute nonsense, but they all insist on following the same patterns again and again and again and again, just because they think that is what successful groups do.
I don't know.
I won't be a part of it.
There has been groups, there has been communities. I'm like, okay, finally this is something I enjoy, some group I like, and where it's not an issue. And I had to go through a lot of groups as well in order to find those groups, but once you find them, it was definitely worth the time.
Well, I'm very glad for you, Chris. I am very, very happy that you found that. But I have not. Honestly, I give up. My patience is finite. I've spent a good long year hearing very little of the words, but not good enough, from one reason or another. And if anybody thinks I am going to put up with shit from people who are apparently good enough, then they've got another thing coming. And now I sound like an incel.
I know, because the thing is, how do you feel about your girlfriend? How do you feel about Jasmine? How do you feel about your job?
I love my girlfriend and I love my job. Obviously not in the same way.
Let's
for example,
fucking hope
does
so.
not have an ass that amazing.
Maybe your boss. But
Well, I do actually have a photo of that. He isn't aware that I took it.
no, I'm just thinking ass in like the swear word ass. But here's the thing. How many jobs, how many girlfriends did you have to go through in order to find the ones you're with now, the ones you are now quite happy with, the ones that are lasting?
Jobs-wise, surprisingly few, because I knew what I wanted to do and I stuck with it.
Yep.
There was only one instance in my working career where I wasn't doing the job I am now, and I quit that because it fucking sucks. I didn't want to inflict myself with it any more than I absolutely had to, and to be honest, my distaste in the job was affecting my ability to do that job. I was becoming very moody and very short with people. When you're in a customer service sort of thing, like I was, that is, you shouldn't be like that. People don't go out in the day just to fill up with petrol and have to put up with some moody, bespectacled twat at the end of a keyboard. They don't do that. They shouldn't have to put up with that.
I think the first time I visited you in the UK, you were doing that job.
I was. And at the time, I'd just come out of a 16-month long, I think it was, redundancy. I took that job because I needed work. I was in a very bad place at the time. To be honest, man is not designed to be sat around doing fuck all for long stretches.
I am. But I mean, we're not gonna go into too much detail as to girlfriends, because like I know for a fact that, and I mean I know like some parts of your love life.
I think it's easiest to describe as this. A lot of girls who didn't really want a boyfriend went through me.
Yeah, maybe, but
It's not 100%, it's like 80-20. But if we're to generalise, that's
yeah.
what it is.
But so here's basically the thing, like the thing I'm working at is like, why did you not give up on those, but you do with like the community stuff, with wits?
Contraire, I did give up on those. What happened completely by accident.
Well, you say that.
Well, it kinda did.
I know how you and Jasmine started. You've told me the story. And
Yeah, we met each other through mutual friends at a barbecue.
yeah, and then fair enough, you can say it's like a random event. I mean, yeah, sure it is. I mean, every event is random.
Yeah, I think everybody meets someone this way. I'm very surprised I bet the number of people who actually find someone like that to have any kind of relationship whatsoever, and not, perhaps not a one-night stand. That's another kettle of fish altogether. But to have a relationship, I suppose people do just meet each other by accident. You don't set out like, today I'm going to find myself a girlfriend, or today I'm going to find myself a husband.
I think you'll be surprised how many people actually go out with the idea of tonight I'm gonna try and find a husband or a girlfriend or whatever.
Jesus, I'm out of touch then.
Yeah, I think you kind of are. I think a lot of people actually go out in order to find the one person they want to spend the rest of their lives with.
I can't imagine doing that.
I think a lot of people do, though. But anyway, here's the thing, like, the thing is if we're like, let's compare the whole finding a community thing with love in general.
Okay.
Basically, what you're doing now is having one night stands. However, one of these days, one of these one night stands will turn out to be the woman you love. It's gonna be a chance encounter. You're like, yeah, I mean, it's another community, just like you can be, it's another woman. I'm not really invested, I don't really give a shit. And that community is gonna turn out, or that one night stand is gonna turn out to be the woman you fall in love with, the community you fall in love with.
That might very well be the case, as it was for you. You play the lottery often enough and you're bound to win, regardless of how small the chances are.
Yes,
At
but
this stage, it's simply down to a question of how many times do you want to adhere to the definition of insanity?
it's the human condition.
How many times do you wish to inflict it upon yourself? How many times must you have your patience and your sensibilities strained? How many times must I silence a bloody Discord group because they're sending each other trap porn at 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning? Yes, that happened.
Yeah, it happens, I know, trust me. Same thing with WhatsApp. But
It's just... how many times? Give me a number and I'll do it. But if you can't give me a number, then I'm quite happy with how I conduct myself right now.
no, but that's not the issue. It's not about the numbers. It's not about well, how can I put this? I mean, you can't say like it's all a numbers game, like you can beat the odds, all that stuff. But it's basically what it comes down to. It's the human condition. The human condition is just insanity. Whether it be in our love life, whether it be in hobbies, whether it be in professional life, we all do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Each and every one of us gets up in the morning, goes to work, wondering, hey, am I gonna get the big promotion this time? Or goes out on a Friday night, picks up a girl, hoping that it's the one he's gonna spend the rest of his life with. Or picks up a girl and thinks she's a man and thinks that's the one. So only let it turn out to be a one night stand, or doesn't even have to be a one night stand, just get a phone number of someone and be like, okay, this is gonna work out, and it doesn't. It's the human condition. We all do it.
Okay. And if I decide I won't do it anymore?
Up to you.
Okay.
But if you decided you wouldn't do it anymore, why on that? Hold on, I'm gonna try and put it on Chaos 2 and do a boss run.
Don't forget to bless your shiny red stuff.
Already did. Great and clean one. Yeah, we're not gonna do Bloodthirster. Great and clean one. Fuck it.
Hold on, I need to empty my pockets.
Alright, I'm canceling.
Right.
Eh. Great and clean one.
It may well be the human condition to repeat the same action over and over again. We may well be creatures of habit. I'm not going to say that isn't the case. It's an observation I've made for myself. That doesn't mean when you can help it that you should ignore the chance to stop it. Some people will eventually find life that it may have been worth it sometime. The end justified the means. But I really don't feel that. I'll give everything a fair shot, which is a hell of a lot more than I've been given in more than these situations. And if it focused, treat those situations the same way as those situations are treated. Don't don't think it's unfair, I don't think it's stupid. It might come across as childish to somebody. That's just the way it is. Everything gets its shot, everything gets its chance. Chance to prove me wrong. And believe me, I have been proven wrong in the past about things, and I'm very grateful to have been proven wrong simply by following this one. It's not like it's completely invalid. It's worked for me more times than it's worked against me. And I just find the more people involved, the more problems seem to arise. Problems I can't find within myself to overlook.
Yeah, also human condition. Although we are an animal that requires a lot of attention and a lot of people with him, we do not work well with others.
I'd rather see myself as someone, and I don't know how many people I can call a friend. I've truly thought about that before, and I thought that's kind of sad, really, when you say it out loud. But I do consider myself a friend towards a lot of people. I've never turned someone away.
Yes, and this is your problem, though. We're going in very deep tonight, aren't we?
Aren't we?
We have
Maybe we should take Chrome's advice and do a podcast sometime.
Yeah. Might not be the worst idea we ever had. Mind you, not the best one either. By the way, for everyone who's still watching, we are playing Chaos Bane, and
yeah, we are playing again. This isn't just some background shit that we're plastering over.
Nope, I mean, what if we're just doing invasions apparently, because it's something that opened up, and I was like, fuck it, let's see what it is. Oh right. Let's trade some stuff here.
To go into another aspect of human condition, I think it is important that everybody spends some time on their own to develop their own personality, their own character, their own beliefs and their own ways of approaching things.
Definitely. My idea has always been, if you cannot be happy on your own, you cannot be happy with someone else either.
Oh, definitely.
I have
find
certain
people who spend more time than within groups and without, regardless of what the genre is, are much more open to suggestion than those who don't. Whether this is down to a certain level of mistrust or antisocialness. Is that a word? It's a word now, anyway.
Yeah.
Even if they're just a wee bit autistic and can't handle people, they're generally more straightforward and straight talking, I find. You can count on them to give you an honest answer rather than what the group answer would be.
Yeah.
I've no evidence to back that up. So, what I've found out of observation, and usually it's the unpopular ones
Nah.
that give you the best answers.
Ah, crap.
Or at the very least, an answer that you weren't expecting to hear.
Yeah. Holy crap, Luthor streets down quickly. Alright, he's immune again.
Do these things not scale?
These are invasions, and apparently they at the moment do not. Holy crap. Luthors will just fucking die. There is no way you're surviving this. I have no idea what we're doing basically, I'm just...
What the hell just happened?
I killed the boss.
Okay.
These were the final tap to open invasions, and we have to do them one at a time. Well, one after the other, and... well, this was one of them.
Okay, this will be a quick unlock.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how well this goes, or how, like, for... because this was now on normal, we've already done other two, but... we'll see where we're at in a bit. Alright, next one. Realm of Chaos, cheats, or... hang on. We got
Legends
Corn,
one,
we
Oh,
got...
cool.
difficulty Chaos too. Ooh, interesting. Difficulty Hard, difficulty Normal. Let's go for Chaos 2, shall we?
Why the hell not?
Yeah, we're doing fine so far. So okay, endgame content has now been unlocked basically, and I can't say it's been hard at this time, but we'll see what all of this does. Now the Greater Gleam one we just killed was on rank 2, Chaos 2, and then that was quite easy.
You weren't even following the mechanics at all, were you? You just stood in
Nope, yeah.
fight and tanking it.
I have to pick up this one. I have to pick up the red fragments as well. Red fragments apparently enhance attack, whereas blue ones I have noticed enhance
Not deserve such a sacrifice.
defense. Don't know what green or yellow does. I think yellow is probably gonna be critical. No idea what green is gonna be.
Okay, I was tickling around on low health there for a second, but I don't know what was doing any damage to me.
You get a debuff. If you stand too close to one of the enemies, they put a debuff on you. You can see the symbol of chaos in your health pool.
Yeah, I've been looking at that.
And it basically drains your health. It leaves after a while, but I'm not sure what makes it come or what makes it leave.
Surely it's got to be one of the bigger enemies.
Yeah, I think it's one of those guys that with the banner and everything, but I'm not entirely sure about that one. So, I did get Resident Evil 3 ready to download. Well, it's downloaded for stream later on tonight. Here's the thing. It's basically two games. I think Resistance, Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil Resistance is in there as well. Yeah, which is basically okay. However, here's the thing. The pre-order bonus online was a theme, you know, a background theme. That also unlocks at midnight. So it's basically a promotional little theme for the background of your PlayStation, and it only unlocks at midnight when the game unlocks.
My life does not
Which
deserve
I thought was
such
kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's not like it has anything to do with the game itself. I thought they would have just given you the background right away.
Yeah.
It's like as if you were buying a poster or something.
Yeah, basically. That's what I thought that would happen, but nope. I was quite surprised actually. I never had a theme just needing to be unlocked.
Legend 31, where was the level? Level 46 on this one.
Yeah, I know. We get level 50 quite... Oh, I'm dead. Well, what do you know?
I'll teach you for hoarding money. I was going to make a bit of a joke then, but we're not monetized to get demonetized yet, so there's no point.
Nope.
such a sacrifice.
Speaking of which, have you been blocked yet?
I don't know. I'm currently not on Facebook. I got the chat open for the stream. Well, it's really necessary because I think the only two people currently watching are you and I.
I'm not watching.
Ah, then I got a viewer. I thought it was you.
No. No, I usually am, but today I'm being a lazy bastard.
Ah, right.
I like to keep people guessing, you see. I may or may not be in the comments. Just keep it interesting there, you know.
Right. Ooh, an event. Defeat the creature. The creature is
Thing with the
way
arrow over its
off.
head.
Wait, what thing with an arrow over its head? Ah, that's the creature.
Not anymore,
Isn't it?
it's not.
Oh, apparently it isn't.
Do you reckon there's more than one?
I don't know, but I see a little orb on our screen which we had to get. I think that's the creature we actually need to kill. And we got 22 seconds to do with him.
Hold on.
Oh crap, there's two of them.
The Ginger Wolf Man 1. There's another one here. You stole my kill!
Even in death.
I don't bloody well know. I'm just...
I practically killed that last guy. You come along and threw a bloody lightning bolt at him.
Well, that's kind of what I do, throwing lightning bolts at people.
You arsehole.
Well, be quicker in killing stuff then. Not my fault. I'm bloody OP again.
Oh, okay, you're just a ranged magic using coward.
Well, seems
Why
like...
all magic spells stink of piss when they're being cast?
Poor baby can't win.
Oh yeah, you can come out like I'm being childish here, but we all know the reason why wizards change their robes so often.
It's because people always piss on us when they see us coming.
I won't piss on you if you're on fire. Magic scum.
Magic scum.
Taking my vent.
Well, you were getting nowhere. I just decided to help you out.
Just a bad player.
No, I'm just a power player. Okay, so apparently, as regard to your gear,
Yeah.
there are sets you can get.
Yeah, I believe so. Everything has its own name when I'm looking at it, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Carrick and Demon Slayer, none of fine. Carrick Hearn Demon Slayer, 2 of 5. Yeah. Thing is, I'm still finding gear that's extending beyond the stuff I'm wearing anyway, so I'm not particularly bothered about sets until the levels start slowing down a bit.
Yeah.
Need a piss.
Okay. Bloody hell. Stay no, you're not like obligated to change any of this right now. So what's the fucking point? I mean, all these points and it's just quite useless. And why am I not getting anything out of this anymore? How the hell do I get points again? Alright, let's fucking freak out, Owen.
Ah, that'll teach you for making coffee in the biggest cup I have. Should I go see a doctor? Because it's coming out cloudy.
Stop putting milk in your coffee. Anyway,
No.
boss rush, Keeper of Secrets or Lord of Change? Lord of Change. Except you dickhead.
Ah. I was equipping another glowy red. Although nothing can possibly upseat my luminous apple. Not
Nah.
Mohawk.
Holy crap. I died.
Tick tack, tick tick tack, tick tack, tick tack.
You gotta come rescue me.
I am.
Yeah, I um, I, I I wanted to freak you out and give up. I wanted to freak you out and I put it on Chaos 5. And yeah, this happened. So yeah,
We got Diablo'd.
yeah,
This is too easy. We'll jump ahead 3-4 fucking difficulties. Oh my god, I just got one shot.
yep. Change difficulty. I'm putting it back on 2.
Put it on 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm feeling like my dick's way bigger than it really is right now.
Alright, accept.
There you go.
It's this guy again and on Chaos 3. We had a great and clean one on Chaos 2 and that was piss easy. Maybe it's just because it's this boss. But that would surprise me, to be honest.
Oh, come on. Tic tac, tic tac.
I'm dead again.
Ow.
You're dying too.
Yeah, because I'm stood in his AOA.
Yeah, me too. Maybe this time actually tactics do make a difference.
You cannot catch me.
We actually have to follow tactics this time.
Where the hell did you go, you little peasant?
He's summoning stuff. He's summoning stuff that can actually hurt us. Quite interesting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Gotta kill things that are summoning, Owen.
I did kill one.
And I can't really aim with... Ah, oh, god damn it. Really? He was aiming at you and you just walked straight into me, you asshole.
Yeah, hold still.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, for fuck's sake, go away. I'm gonna have to break the thing, aren't I?
Yeah, of course you are. We're gonna die alone. Yeah. This is
Why
not
though?
happening.
Oh, I got blue screened.
Ah, seriously?
Yep.
Alright.
I'm
Well-
having a lot of blue screen issues lately.
Well, this might be as good as a time then to quit. That's gonna be it for the stream. We're gonna see whether or not we're gonna continue this endgame content next stream. Not quite sure what we're gonna do. As we never do when we finish game. But don't forget to tune in later tonight because we will be streaming Resident Evil 3, the remake, as it comes out, available in 2 hours time. Other than that, like, share, subscribe, as is commanded by the overlords of YouTube. And in the meantime, it's good night from me.
And goodbye from me.
And we'll see you all next time.